a God guy? Is anyone else dropping loads for the Lord? Huh? Coming for Christ, huh? One day he goes, I talked to God about you. And I was like, ooh, what did he say? And he goes, we can't see each other anymore. And I was like, Jesus Christ, right? Because that sucks whether you believe in God or don't. There's no good scenario there, right? Because either you don't believe in God, and that means he invented an imaginary friend to help reject me. Or you do believe in God, which means there's a higher power somewhere that was like, dude, get out. No, she's the worst. Her pussy sucks, dude. I'm like, you made it, okay? My mom was raised Catholic, and she asks me to pray for people, which is my favorite thing in the world, right? And she asked me to pray. She's like, I need you to pray for Brenda. And I'm like, what's going on with Brenda? Brenda's on her 4th failed marriage. She's an alcoholic. I was like, okay, it sounds like you want me to talk shit about Brenda. Behind her back to the sky? Yeah, I'm in. Right? Just hot gossiping with the ceiling. I'm like, dude, did you hear about Brenda? No. Skip Ukraine. Go straight to Brenda. She needs this. My mother is a very sweet woman. She's growing weed in our backyard. Yeah. It became legal in Vermont, and my mom decided to grow weed in the backyard. She's growing an illegal amount in the yard. I don't know anything about the laws. I know you can't have that much. And I was like, what are we doing, Renee? You don't even smoke. And she was like, oh, I just like to garden. Oh, just an unironic green thumb. That's so cute. She doesn't smoke, but she is the highest acting person I've ever met in my life. Give you an example. When I was 10, I came home from school and I go, I have a science fair project due and I don't know what to do. And she goes, I have an idea. Why don't we brush our Shetland sheepdog, weave his hair into yarn, and then knit that into mittens. Just off the dome. No THC in her system. And if you're like, that's not science, yeah, I know that now. But at 10, I was like, let's knit these things, huh? Showed up to school, every other kid had a normal project that was like, this is how magnets work. And I was in whatever corner they could shove me in, just like, oh, hello, my best friend is on my hands. Should I take that A+ now, or... I still have the mittens. They are very real. We don't have Prancer anymore. He's long dead. He'd be like a 40-year-old dog. Don't get sad. That would be worse. I still have the mittens. I brought them to college with me, and this guy was flirting, and he goes, ooh, those mittens look nice. And I go, thank you. They're my dead dog. Where are you going? Come back. It's like he's petting you. My mom worries about me in Brooklyn. She worries also that I'm not getting enough vitamins, but she says it like this. She goes, Carmen, make sure you're getting the D. And I'm like, I'm getting it, Mom. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I had to come out to her as pansexual. Pansexual, if you don't know what pansexual is, that's where you live in Brooklyn for 10 years. And you're just trying to fit in, right? Pansexual, if you really don't know, pansexual is where you like everything, but not everyone. Right? There's always someone from the shadows who's like, ooh, what about me? And I'm like, oh, not you, though. Sorry, anything but you, asexual. My best friend had no idea what it was. She goes, pansexual, you like everything. She goes, even animals? Yeah, she asked it like that, with hope in her heart. I was like, you are not allowed to watch my cat anymore, Jen. Pansexual is fun. I dated a woman for a little while. People ask you insane questions when you're dating a woman. I was holding her hand in the street. This guy comes up, he goes, "Which one of you's the dude?" I was like, I don't know, whichever one didn't make the other one come last night. Me. I told my mom I was dating a woman. She was very supportive. Her first question, she goes, "What's her sign?" Her astrological sign, which I love her. Then my mom's like, "Love is love, bring whoever you want home, but if it's a fucking Capricorn, not in this house, not after your father." My dad's been married 3 times, so. Is anyone else in here married to my dad? My dream is that he get a 4th wife and I steal her from him. Father-daughter bonding. My dad was more of a, "You're gay? That's gay," kind of a dude. Told him I was dating a woman, and he told me the order of the sexualities as he likes them. He was like, "My favorite is gay men." I was like, "Why?" He was like, "More women for me." Dating a woman was a bit hard. It made me a little bit of a misogynist. Whoopsie-daisies. I found myself being like, "What do they want from us?" It's hard. I owe men an apology. Sorry, I really just thought you guys were stupid. Yeah. Getting them to have sex with you, very difficult. Did not know that. Thought I could just walk in and be like, "I'm a girl, you're a girl." But no. You have to like lay down a trail of crystals that leads to a feral cat. Absolutely none of the planets can be in retrograde. Sleeping with a man, much easier, right? I can just kind of shamble into any establishment and be like, "You like gerbils?" And guys are like, "Dibs, dibs." Yeah. The weird ones give the best head. Giving head is hard. I enjoy performing cunnilingus. Anyone else? You guys like eating pussy? No? No one? Okay, well, this is why women are mad. Thanks. I like it a lot. I didn't know that I would like it because I have a lot of straight male friends who complained about it, but that's because straight men are gay. Yeah. I left the house, people were like, "You're glowing." I was like, "Oh, I just didn't wash it off." They're like, "Is that highlighter?" I was like, "It's Erica." Thank you. Love doing it. I had to Google it though, because I don't know what I'm doing. I Googled how to do it. No man ever has, but like you can do that. I went to the podcasts. That's where I went to get my advice. And I typed in how to perform cunnilingus. Don't do that. That was one British man who was like, "First you must remove her trousers." So then I typed in how to eat pussy good. That's what you want. That got me the most sexist, misogynistic man ever, giving the most fire tips. Right? He was like, "Women, I don't know what they're up to. I don't know what they want. I don't like them very much. But when you do go down on them, make sure you take your time, fellas. Foreplay is a part of the process. They got titties. Don't go directly for the clitoris. Women can't play sports." I was like, what? What's happening? I love it. I also love the WNBA. That's a very, yeah. Dating a man during the WNBA season, that's not what you want. You want to lesbo up. That's what you need for the WNBA, right? If you're a woman and you go down on another woman, tickets will slide right out of there. It's the LGBTQI WNBA. Yeah. That's the full acronym. I love the WNBA. It's women's basketball. I lost a few of you in there. I argue with men a lot about it. I have to. They're just like, "I don't like it." And I'm like, "Why?" And they're like, "Because it's not the same. It's not the same as the NBA." And I'm like, whoa, we also beat our wives. I play basketball at my local playground. And a lot of little boys like to challenge me to one-on-one. I don't like it. They shit talk. They're like, I could take you to school. And I'm like, I could literally take you to school. If your mom needs someone, I'm here, little man. I don't like shit talking. It scares me. I have a lot of friends who are very good at it. If you have friends who talk behind each other's backs, here's what you do. Just act wildly different in front of each friend so that if they do come together, they're not going to reach a consensus. All right? My friends will be like, Carmen was wild last night, just a blackout drunk. And everyone's like, what are you talking about? She's been sober for 15 years. She will fuck your dad, though. Yeah. She fucked my mom. Who is she? Oh, no. My favorite thing to do with the WNBA is I go into the WNBA Instagram page and I police the comments section. Just an internship position. Just volunteering of my own good heart. I don't know if you've been in there, but there are a lot of guys from New Jersey who hate that women. That's it. And I go in and I get them back, you know? They'll be like, women can't play basketball, and then I go on their page and I'm like, well, it looks like you can't land a kickflip, you little bitch. Doesn't have to be clever, just has to be accurate. One time there was a guy who wrote, make me a sandwich. Usually not good enough for me to engage with, but he spelled sandwich wrong. And I was like, here we go, Trevsky 420, huh? Screenshotted everything that he said, went onto his page, saw that he had a girlfriend, sent them to her. Yeah. You can do that. And then I clicked on her profile and saw that she does not graduate high school for another 3 years. No, I know, it's not pedophilia, but it's not a good look, right? That I'm creeping in there like, what you doing, who you dating? I don't like him very much. I'm 38 and very bored. Do you know you can do that for your team? That's crazy. I went back onto their page, and a couple days later, I saw that they had deleted all of their pictures together, and I was like, oh, I just broke them up. I broke up children online for the New York Liberty, goddammit. Yeah. I don't know what team, of what sport, whatever you're a fan of, but you can do that too. You could go ruin young love for the Jets. That's awesome. I don't know how you parent in this day and age, right? How do you warn kids about what's on the internet? You have to sit them down and be like, okay, look out, there's gonna be some creeps, some weirdos, some dick pics. There's also gonna be this lady. She just wants what's best for you. I don't know how you raise kids anywhere. My sister has 4. My sister has 4 kids. They are unvaccinated. I can't remember their birthdays, though, so, like, probably won't be a problem for much longer. There's 4 of them. They always have some sort of, like, disease. They live in rural Vermont. Like, city kids are immunized immediately when they get here, but rural kids, they have diseases that I thought we eradicated as a people in the medieval times. Right? Went home, she was like, that one has croup. That one has hoof and mouth. I'm like, is she a horse? And that one has trench foot. I'm like, okay, did she serve 2 tours in the sandbox? What is happening? I think Vermont is a very scary place. I think rural areas are scary. My family thinks Brooklyn, where I live, is scary. And I'm like, no, man, the woods. Like, last time I went home, my sister said this, it belongs in a horror movie. She goes, the dogs are barking again. I don't see anything out there, though. Why don't you go check? No. Right? I want to go back to Brooklyn where someone will film my murder. I feel very safe in Brooklyn. I love it here. I think one of my number 1 fears is mass shootings, and I feel very safe in New York City because we don't really have, like, we had one guy who tried and he missed everybody. Which is what you want. You want a shitty mass shooter, okay? You don't want some guy from Colorado coming in. They don't miss, okay? I very much fear mass shootings. I had one scare in the city. One time I came out of the subway and the cops go, "Get out of here, there's an active shooter." And then they go, "The suspect is female." Oh, oh my God. Woo! I actually feel safer now. Knowing she's out there. Thank goodness. A female mass shooter? Are you kidding me? What is she gonna do? Shoot through the glass ceiling? Shut up, right? That's so cute. That's not what we do. That's a man's job. That's what men do. She is gonna go home and drown her kids. Yeah. We have a horrible atrocity too. We're not gonna kill a bunch of strangers, but we will make something with half of our DNA and then be like, "Oh my God, no, 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 no. No, 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 no. Too sticky." I read that there have been a bunch of mass shootings in nursing homes. Isn't that crazy? That's wild to me, because like the stakes are so low. What are you doing? You know what I mean? Like go in there with a light cold, you're gonna take out all the Ethels. There's never been one at a comedy show though, so. Until tonight. Trevor! No. It is always a Trevor or a Dale though, do you know what I mean? They say white people don't have culture and traditions, and I'm like, we do. Mass shootings and skedaddling. We love it. I don't like guns. I love gun merchandise, though, right? Just a catchy slogan on a thing. I saw one. This guy was wearing a shirt that said, "Guns don't kill people. Dads with pretty daughters do." Yeah. A real, like, if I can't fuck her, no one can. Kind of a vibe. I'll take 10. Hilarious. Mm-hmm. My least favorite kind of mass shooting, if you can pick. How do you choose? School shootings, I think, are terrifying. I think they're so bad, and part of that is because I used to substitute teach, and I wouldn't do that now, right? Because I don't want to substitute die. Yeah, like shooter comes in, I'm like, "Oh, no, 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 I'm not supposed to be here today." We're just watching Finding Nemo in Spanish. I don't even get dental. Are you kidding me? You take him out. He's being disruptive. I'm also terrified of school shootings because I have those 4 nieces and nephews in school, and I have played hide and go seek with them, and they fucking suck. Shooter's gonna be like, "Behind the skeleton, interesting." People do not like mass shooters, but they do like serial killers, which is interesting, right? We're like, I like them when they're patient with it, you know? Serial killers take their time. I love serial killer stuff. Do you guys like serial killer? Yeah. True crime, yeah. It's all women right now. Okay, yeah. People are always like, women, they love true crime. I'm like, well, it keeps happening to us, so I think we're just keeping tabs right now. I think every dude in the world would be very into serial killers if there were just more women doing it. Ladies, right? Could turn on the news. Maybe they give us a fun nickname for once. They're like, "She's at it again, the South Side dick slasher." Slashed 7 last night. Like every guy would be like, "Whoa, what the hell is that?" No, don't change it to the game, Dale. Now we have to solve this mystery. Where's the SSDS? Where's she at? Off diagonally? Is she keeping them? What's happening, man? And my guy friends will still be like, "Women don't watch sports." I'm like, please, we binge watch the most dangerous sport of all. It's just that the stakes are way higher, right? I'm like, "I'm sorry, did your ball go out of bounds?" Kelly's been missing for 3 weeks. She is the most out of bounds. Kelly lives, you guys left just hard enough. I always try to watch like the documentaries on female serial killers to like cleanse the palate, you know? but they're never as uplifting as I think they'll be, you know, to be like, we can kill too. They're never good. Women's murder backstories suck. They're so dark, right? We're like, why did you do it? And she's like, I was just beaten and tortured for so many years. Finally, I snapped. You ask any man serial killer and they're like, she parted her hair down the middle. It's kind of my thing. That was Ted Bundy. He loved a middle part, baby. He loved it. Ted Bundy had an ex-girlfriend who visited him in prison, and she asked him, she goes, did you ever try to murder me? Which is a level of petty we should all aspire to. And he went, yeah. I was like, oh my God, that is the kind of open communication that I strive for in my relationships. This one's really dark. He had a wife while he was in prison, and they had a daughter. They had a daughter, which I think is crazy that he had to name a daughter because he killed maybe 100 women, 50, 100. That's like 100 names you can't use. What a weird situation that only he could be in, where his wife is pitching names, and she's like, how about Catherine? And he's like, with a C or with a K? With a C? No. With a K? No. Jane Doe? Absolutely not. Are you crazy? Right? Ted. Oh, Ted. There was another serial killer who came through my old hometown. His name was Israel Keys. He came through my old hometown. He killed 2 of my neighbors. Not funny yet. Okay. Wait. My newspaper tried to pick that story up, and here's the quote that they went with. They said, well, Ted Bundy only killed young, attractive women. Keys had no particular type. Ugh, burn. Like, why are you roasting them? They're already dead. Could be a little bit nicer, right? They could have been like, Ted Bundy's victims were all hot, we know that, but Keys' victims all had great personalities. Fun people, brought dips to parties, we loved them. My favorite serial killer getting caught story is the Golden State Killer. Yeah. Yes, the best, right? So good. Golden State Killer, this guy. He did a lot of his work in like 30 years ago, by the way, and then he retired, which is interesting. He had like he robbed people, and then he murdered them, and then he went back to robbing people, just sort of like a Nicolas Cage-like trajectory with his career. And Golden State Killer, also, this is great. He had neighbors. You know when they interviewed the neighbors, and the neighbors like, we had no idea. His were like, yeah. This guy sucks. He got caught recently because somebody in his extended family took a genealogy test, like a 23andMe. It's so funny to me, right? That he was just like in his 70s, just like murder, 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 got away with it. And she was somewhere like, are we Scottish? I know we're white, but what kind of white are we? And now he's in jail forever. He also stalked people through their blinds. I was obsessed with this fact. He would watch them for weeks through their blinds, which was upsetting to me because I have blinds that I paid like $5 for, that every time I try to lower them, they go up a little bit higher. They're stuck open. You can see in, right? So I just feel like, I'm like, what do I do in there all the time? And then I remembered that for a long period of time, a few years, I had a chronically itchy asshole. Yeah, I don't know, man. I really go to the doctor. Yeah, it took me a long time, okay? It took me a long time to go to a doctor, let alone speak to you guys about it. Right? Many years, chronically, medically itchy. And I went to a lot of doctors, okay? Nobody could seem to crack the case. One of them goes, the old itchy scratchies. And that was the most helpful of the doctors. I went to a proctologist. He goes, did you want me to look at it? Yeah, man, I want you to rank it if possible. Give me a note that says it's too tight for anal. Be helpful. I was asking friends for advice. One friend was like, just shave it off. Just shave everything completely smooth back there. Do not do that. It grows back fast and angry. Every time I wiped, just toilet paper would snow globe majestically down. Shredded everything in its path. I say this next part not to shock you guys or to gross you out, but I would oft scratch and then automatically just bring it hence to smell. I'm on your side. I don't like it either, but everyone in here has done that. And it's automatic. We don't mean to do it. I think it was maybe helpful 3,000 years ago from an evolutionary standpoint where you're trying to get the best genes and you're like, yes, it's good, yes. We make babies now? But now it's nothing. It's nothing now, you know? Now I'm not like, oh my God, it's begonias this time. No, I'm always like, it's shit again! All this is to say that I think the Golden State Killer would be like, hard pass. She's got enough DNA under those fingernails, you know what I mean? No one shakes my hand after shows, and I'm just now realizing I am afraid of an Uber driver abducting me and killing me, because I heard that happened like once. So now I just get into the car as heinously as possible, just in case, right? I'm just like, oh, woo, what's up? You like gerbils? You ever let them roam around in your sleeves, huh? It itches, I don't know why. Just anything to make the driver be like, oh my God, maybe the next one. I had an Uber driver once. I thought he was gonna kill me because I got into the car and he had a Southern accent. That's it. Whoops, ever find out you're a bigot from the North, huh? To my credit, I got in the car and he goes, do you mind if I pull over to pee? And I was like, I've seen that episode of Forensic Files. No. I said no to his face and he goes, please, I really gotta go. And I was like, ugh, all right. And I was like, God, is that all it takes to murder me? Just ask a second time and that polite woman will automatically kick in. I'm like, well, I wouldn't want to be a bitch about my murder. And he got back in the car, I swear to God, with a piece of metal he found on the side of the road. He goes, what do you think this is? The murder weapon. Yeah. Then he did not kill me, so 5 stars. Yeah. That's a good ride, baby. This next joke is super dark. You guys do come with me on it. Because I think about murder a lot, and I think if a murderer were about to kill me and he had not raped me, I would be like, with the corpse though, right? Just gonna murder me based on my personality? You sick fuck. No. I always get bothered by those documentaries where they interview the men and they killed so many women that they don't know where the bodies are. Like, here's what I would do to combat that. I think if somebody's about to kill me, you just gotta yell out something memorable and weird so that they don't forget. He's about to die and you're like, yeah, Triscuits are better than goldfish. He's never gonna forget that. Are you kidding? They're gonna be like, where'd you bury Carmen? He's like, that Triscuit-loving bitch. Saved a special spot for her. Ooh, let's play a game. Okay, it's called, I only played it ever once with the first audience. It's called, I call on you, and then I'm about to kill you, and you're about to say your last words, okay? Whatever you say. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Well, first you came. That would have been memorable enough. Scooby-Dooby-Doo. That was amazing. I just made eye contact with you and you're like, please don't do it to me. Please don't do that. Yeah, we don't have to. That was perfect. Are you kidding? We got it. That game is fun. Play that with your friends. That's super fun. I don't have a stalker, which I think it would be very hard to stalk me. I'm very bad with directions. I just feel like a stalker would get very frustrated very quickly, just following me 18 blocks in the wrong direction. He'd be like, oh my God, you live that way. I'm like, oh, thank you, stalker. I'll leave the door unlocked tonight. I don't have a stalker. I don't want a stalker, but I want them to want me. Does that make sense? All my friends have stalkers. All my friends, and I post where I'm gonna be on social media every night. Where are these guys at, right? I did a show once, there were these two guys in the front row, and the producer goes, watch out for them. They stalk female brunette comedians. And I was like, oh my God. And then nothing happened. Nothing at all, okay? I figured out who they were, started following them on social media. I still watch their stories. I'm like, where you at tonight, boys, huh? Another female brunette comedian who like better than me? I got legit jealous, right? Which is exactly what would happen if a murderer abducted me and brought me to the basement and there were other women. I'd be like, who the fuck are they? I thought I was special. I do get jealous. I have jealousy issues. Anyone else a jealous petty bitch? Ooh, a lot of us. Okay, rest of you are so healthy. Wow, good for you. So nice for you. I get jealous. I have a good friend who is super hot, so going out with her is a lot. Like, picture, she has the face and body of a porn star, and then she has the job of a porn star. So when we go out together, people are like, hey, can your son move, please? Trying to look at her tits. They are huge. They're so big that she gets everything for free. I swear to God. We went to this place, she got free food, free drink. She got me a free shirt, huh? She's so hot, I got trickle down free shit. She's so hot, Reaganomics kicked in. And then I was like, well, I've probably gotten some free stuff. I thought about it, and I did. I was performing at a thrift store recently because my career is taking off. And the thrift keeper became taken with me, not to brag. And he goes, you can have any taxidermied item of your choice. So I went, I'll take the owl. And he goes, you can't have the owl. And then he gave me a raccoon tail. That's a real thing that I have in my house, just to remind myself that I'm Davy Crockett hot. Hot women are my favorite demographic on Instagram. I don't know if you've been or you visited. Yes, hot women on Instagram, because the hotter they are, the more batshit crazy those captions become. Right? I'll be like, God, she's stunning. What does she have to say? Follow your dreams, because your dreams are your dreams' dreams. Are you wasted, Kelsey? What is happening? Why are you trying to inspire us and make us horny at the same time? Just put, I'm hotter than you. And I'm gonna be like, God, yes. You should have to put the reason you're hot underneath, just like, it's money. I knew it. Kelsey recently posted a picture of herself in a bikini, and the caption said, what's your favorite flavor of ice cream? No ice cream in the picture. But I got very excited because I don't know if you've been to a hot woman's Instagram comment section, but that is where the oldest men on the planet go to answer the question earnestly. Oh, and they're all named Ernest. You pop in there, there's 10 Leonards in a row. They're like, pistachio! Will pistachio win Kelsey's favor? One guy was like, apricot. I was like, what flavors were around during World War II? I have a very, very old gynecologist. I think he probably served in World War II. World War II is what I call my pussy. I have Medicaid. Okay, I'm getting a Medicaid vibe from a few of you. Hell yeah. For those of you not on it, thank you for paying for mine. I really wanted a female gynecologist. That's what I want. I wanted a woman. And I called. I was like, can I get a woman? And they were like, you can have a 4,000-year-old Polish man. His name is Stanislaw Nieznikiewicz. Your guess is as good as mine. His last name looks like a suggested password. Symbols and numbers in it. I don't know. They were like, you can see Stanislaw tomorrow. I was like, I don't love that he's available tomorrow. But the next day it was 95 degrees. He's 5 miles away. I biked there. Yeah, you're gonna be a male gynecologist. You're gonna cross that bridge. You're gonna pay the toll. Okay. Some of you didn't get that, and I refuse to explain. He sends me to the apothecary to get my prescriptions. It really does feel he's so old that I'm like going on a quest to see a wizard every time I see him. I'm like, see, sire, I seek thy counsel, for I hath lain with another. Forsaking condoms. And he's like, 'tis human papilloma. No one knows what that is. It's not a very professional gynecology office. I went in and he asked for a urine sample. I expected there to be a sample cup. Went to the bathroom. There was a stack of Solo cups. Yeah, that's not a doctor's office. That is a frat party. Half expected to walk out and be like, hell yeah, woo! HPV 16, right? He's that good. I do have 16. What do you guys have? Shout out your strain. A little crowd work action. There's over 100. You can collect them all. They're like Beanie Babies. I think STDs, STIs are fine. I think people like build them up too much, you guys. People need to relax, right? It's like, first of all, if you get one, it means you're getting laid. That's awesome, right? I have HPV 16. It causes cervical cancer. People seem to care about herpes, though, which causes nothing. It's fine. Who gives a shit? 90% of people who have it don't have a single symptom. I probably have it. I don't know. I've never been tested. Who cares, right? There is one horrible side effect, though, and that is when I talk about it on stage, people go completely silent. So, grow up, get one. Stan. He diagnosed me. My gynecologist diagnosed me with too tight of a pussy. His words, not mine. Thank you. It's a real thing. 10% of women have something like this. I went in like 6 years ago and I was like, sex is painful for me. And then he figured it out a few months ago. Go, Stan. It's called persistent hymen, which I've been putting on my LinkedIn profile. They were like, what a go-getter she is, huh? It's not like a fun thing either. Stan tried to make it sound really fun. He was like, the guys love it. The guys love a couch cushion, Stan. You're not raising my self-esteem with this one, buddy. They made a movie franchise on a guy who likes to fuck pies. So I got a second opinion. I had somebody else and I called her and I was like, what's going on? She was like, it's kind of like you're a virgin forever. And then I went to Stanislaw and he goes, it's like you're a forever virgin. And I was like, the prophecy was true? They both said that I need to stretch it out. I was like cursed by a horny male bro witch. They're just like, yeah, you just gotta get it in a bunch. Women can't play sports. I'm like, God damn it, it's that guy. I recently tried out the Divacup. I do have a period joke, I'll warn you ahead of time. Some people don't like period jokes, and then other people have made women come, so pick a side. But I need to post something on the internet that'll get men super mad, so here it is. I got the Divacup. If you don't know what that is, neither do I, okay? They sent it with no instructions. They were just like, I don't know, fold it and fist yourself. And they send you two. They send two different sizes. So I'm sitting there like, well, surely I'm the smaller one for my tight little snatch. And that leaked out immediately. I was like, that's fine. I'll take the crock pot. the name Divacup, right? Sounds like something you'd call a woman on her period to be an asshole. Dude, Jenna's being such a Divacup right now. I just want more options. I want to be able to go to the drugstore and be like, yes, hello, could I get your bitchy chalice, please? And I'll take an XXL cunt goblet. It's my favorite Harry Potter book. Harry Potter and the Goblet of Cunt. When I was dating a woman, did not make me think that I wasn't pregnant, by the way. That will not stop me from being like, it's the child of God. Just always think I'm pregnant. It's always gas or cheese. I am pro-abortion, though. Pro-abortion. Get him out of there, okay? No. I escorted a woman to get an abortion once. It happened very early in the morning. It's so early. And I saw a woman holding a sign protesting that said, I'm here because I survived my abortion. And I was like, then sleep in. If life is such a gift to you, what are you doing here? Go home, go back to bed, or scramble some eggs. Make it fun and ironic for yourself. It also reminded me of my friend, because when he was in the womb, he absorbed the fetal tissue of what would have been his twin and just dropped out solo. And I was like, dude, you gotta get on the picket line. With a sign that's like, I'm here because I ate my twin! Right? Because if you believe life begins before you come out of the womb, then you have to also believe Ryan is a murderer. Cute little murderer, huh? You should be coming out and being put into all the cutest little handcuffs. Are you serious? And then put into baby jail. Which is a crib. It's the same thing. I learned about sex from Cosmo magazine. Did anyone else? Yeah. Cosmo, right? Where they just needed to have one page that was like, touch his dick, that's it. But they got so creative with it. Every single one, they were like, oh, give him a tornado hand job. Just out here throwing shingles at dicks. What is that? I'll never forget one tip that they told me. They go, you should hum on his balls. And then it said, use a lower register because it sends more vibrations. Yeah, you guys like that? He's like, are you doing Nobody Knows the Troubles? The Venga bus is coming. Just, it's so fun. What song would you guys pick? You can write for the album, too. Ave Maria. Ave Maria. Aww. How old are you? That's so cute. That's too high. Ave Maria. That wouldn't feel good at all, sir. Gay. No, I'm just kidding. We're all gay in here. I also learned this fun fact. I learned that the distance between a woman's clitoris and the opening to her vagina is critical to whether or not she can orgasm during penetrative sex alone. I just take off after that. Yeah, good night. If it's about 1 inch, you're right on the edge. And I was really curious. So I was like, took a measuring tape out of my roommate's room. Measured. Mine's like 3.5 feet, so that's fine. But I forgot to give him the measuring tape back. And then he came in the next day and was like, do you know where my measuring tape is? And then I got embarrassed. I was like, no, I don't know. Like, as if that was going to be in his top 10,000 guesses. As if there was ever going to be a world where he was going to come in and be like, where's my measuring tape? Are you doing that thing where you're measuring the distance from the clitoris to the opening of the vagina? See whether or not you can come during penetrative sex alone? No, he probably took it back to measure his dick. Like, it's... Ugh. Orgasming can be very tough indeed. I feel like sometimes orgasming feels like trying to put a toddler to bed. Right? Like, the parameters have to be perfect. It has to be dark, but I want a night light. It has to be warm, not hot, not cold. I want my favorite toy to be there. And I want daddy. I love a toy. I own sex toys. I own a dildo. That's why I don't think having a pocket pussy is weird, because I own a severed penis. It's way creepier. Every time I have to wash it, I just give it a sad hand job in the sink. My roommate's like, can I come in? I'm like, I'm almost finished. I also own a vibrator. I love my vibrator. It did advertise itself as whisper quiet, though, which not quite, unless you whisper like this. She's coming over here! I did date a guy who was like very threatened by the vibrator, which I don't understand. I'm like, well, why? It's just a hand that does this, right? Like, are you threatened by Parkinson's? I would love to be fingered by Michael J. Fox. I once slept with a guy 10 years younger than me, and he gave me some feedback afterwards, which, that's what you want. And he goes, you are the oldest woman to ever make me come back to back. Oh, thank you, sonny boy. Good heavens, right? Like, what is that? Why are you roasting me? It felt like he was being like, oh, surely the younger ones can with their supple skin and their young blood, but you, an old maid, accomplishing the easiest task on the planet. Are you kidding? If we get a golden retriever and some peanut butter in here, I'm gonna be outdone 10-1. I yelled at him after I put my teeth back in. So it is very good not to be single anymore. Rough in these streets. My God, every guy is very like aggressive right out of the gate, I feel like. I had this one guy, he was like, can I send you a picture of my cum? Yeah, dick pics are out, cum pics are in. I was like, you could put shampoo on a plate, I'm not gonna know. And I have so many follow-up questions. I'm like, did you already come? Did you save it for me? And if so, in what vessel? Like a nice vase? I had another guy ask me, he goes, how do you want me to come? Which usually they ask where. So I was like, from your penis? But if you have another way, I'm open-minded. If you got gills or something, sure. I'm curious, right? First date, guys will be very aggressive. Like, I've had a lot of them where they like come out real hard. They're like, are you into choking? Are you into anal? Choking? Anal? Ah! And I'm like, I'm into gentle clitoral stimulation. You know? There's just no equivalent for me as a woman. I can't go in that hard as well and be like, yeah, hell yeah, and are you into ball torture? Let me rub my clit on your eye. Let's make that a thing. I think that would feel really good. It's a nice gooey substance, you know? A guy also tried to hit on me by saying this. He goes, my dick is so big. One time I put a woman in the hospital because I bruised her cervix. I was like, that's not hot. That is a crime, I think, right? And I'm like, what do I come back at that with? I was like, that's crazy. My pussy's so tight, it snaps dicks clean off. Like a fresh celery stick. It's persistent. Stanislaus said. Guy wanted me to gag on his dick, which I don't think that's hot at all. I don't mean to be one of those comics who's like, men and women, they're different in the bedroom, but when it comes to gagging, like a real like, whoop, 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 right? Because if a man gagged on my pussy, I would change my name and address. If anyone was like, I would leave the country. Ugh, one more cum joke and then I'll get out of your hair. If you are uptight about cum jokes, I urge you not to be, because you are cum. You're the valedictorian of your dad's load. Okay, that's just science. That's exciting. You got into egg. Do you know how hard that is? You should be proud. Here's the thing. I don't know if you guys know this, but if a guy eats pineapple before you go down on him, his cum will taste like cum. Still. Why is every dude trying to trick us with cum? They're like, this one's gonna be a really sweet batch. You will enjoy this one. It's going to be very sweet. I'm like, do you think I'm a cum sommelier? I don't have a refined enough palate where I'm distinguishing the flavors of cum. I'm not like, oh my goodness, is that boysenberry? Yes. I'm like, is that cum you've been drinking? Tastes like cum. This is not his wine glass, it's his balls. I'm just swirling about. All right, thank you guys so much for coming out. Thank you so much. I brought him! Here they are. Rest in peace, Prancer. Thank you guys so much. Bye.